This New York Post article that we reported on Friday, which detailed some of the freak-off parties, just gave Diddy a win in court. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and just as I worried, this article in the New York Post didn't actually give us anything new, and instead just seemed to serve up a potential win for Diddy. And I suspect this will stop other articles detailing these tapes, or at least federal officials talking about said tapes in the future. Here's the memo that went out to the judge, and we have the judge's sort of verdict, which I'll get to in a second. But here it was. Dear Judge, defendant Sean Combs respectfully submits this additional letter in further support of his October 23rd letter regarding the proposed gag order. He wants to shut everybody up. We reported on this with Christopher Melcher, how he wants to shut up everybody, the victims, the press, the agencies. This morning, the New York Post published an article, the one we talked about, containing false, inflammatory, prejudicial remarks attributed to a federal law enforcement source who was involved in the government's investigation. That's true. We actually go here. I saved this part as we look up the source. These are consistent with the videos we have. A federal law enforcement source who was involved in investigation said after hearing descriptions of the scenes in the videos the Post has reviewed. And again, this is some sick S. The law enforcement told the Post, look, if it were just some parties with a bunch of adults, we wouldn't have this conversation. That's perfectly legal, but that's not what we're talking about. This man is a predator. Now, again, we broke upon that story and I gave you my thoughts. And again, if there's actual proof here of him doing this with adults who did not consent or were given substances that they can't report on, or celebrities that are allowing criminal behavior to happen, expose them all, bring it out. But this article didn't really do that. This article sort of just tried to put some footage they found of a big adult party and tried to make it seem like it was all unconsensual, etc., but had literally no proof of that. And so that's actually given Diddy a win in a way, because Diddy's whole gag order is now looking good. If these sources were actually real from federal agencies as they're described in the New York Post article, well then, yeah, they're not following the gag order that they're supposed to follow. And this is a problem. And these are the quotes exactly that we just went through. Everything that you can imagine as parties. Now, these are attributed to a federal agent, a federal law enforcement source who's involved in the government's agency, is what the New York Post said. And if they really are giving quotes to the New York Post after the previous gag order, which the judge said, hey, feds, you can't do this. Just like Diddy can't go out, have his lawyer out there and saying, oh, the Costco nonsense. This goes both ways. Both parties are supposed to remain mum, and they're not. And this is the problem. If these agencies are out there talking it up, it could actually give Diddy more wins. And that's what I'm frustrated about. And that's what's frustrating here in this story. Federal agent statements clearly constitute opinions by a government agent that have substantial likelihood or interfering with a fair trial or otherwise prejudging the due's administration of justice. Indeed, the statements are opinions as to the accused's guilt or innocence, or as to the merits of the case or the evidence in the case, which are presumptively prejudicial. The statements also reflect that the agent has access to possible grand jury material in the form of videos and other potential evidence, and also evidence that may not yet be evidence, the New York Post's evidence. In addition to violating this, the statements attributed to the federal agent involved in the investigation are objectively false. There are no videos of people having X at parties, nor has the government alleged this as part of the indictment. In the absence of evidence, however, law enforcement has intentionally made false and damning statements to one of the primary news sources in New York City, read by potential grand jury and trial jurors. Now, this is interesting. There's no videos of people having X at parties. That's easily proven. If that's false, he's going to look pretty dumb. But that's what they're saying. There's no videos of this, guys. I can't believe the New York Post would have said they saw it if they didn't actually see it. So this is pretty gutsy of them to say there are no videos, nor has they alleged any part of this in the indictment that there's parties. They kind of did, didn't they not? the freak-off parties. The latest article underscores the need for the court's order to be appropriately expansive and to cover any and all agents in a position to have access to videos, evidence, case information, or be familiar with the investigation either directly or indirectly. The government's proposed order would allow this clear misconduct to go unbated and will protect federal agents involved in their investigation from the ramifications of intentionally violating a defendant's right to a fair trial, free from false, damaging, and intentional statements made to the press. That this conduct is continuing demonstrates disregard for the clear concern this court has shown for the fundamental issue. This isn't a good look, guys. I asked Christopher Melcher, he wasn't able to join us, but he agreed. He said, look, it's a legit complaint. If the New York Post is correct about law enforcement agent being there as a source, it's not a good look. It's not. In the larger context of the unrelated leaks and false statements by the agents over the last 7 months, today's article shows Department of Homeland Security has formed an illicit partnership with different press outlets, which the agency has used and will use to ruin this man's ability to get a fair trial. The need for an immediate gag order is clear. The court should enter Mr. Combs' proposed order, or these prejudicial links will only continue. Now, this is no joke. This is a real issue here. And even the media doesn't really know how to handle this. Here's one saying the judge warns after leaks, this is plainly improper, acknowledging that, yeah, this is a bad look. But then also page six in New York Post, New York Post, page 6, different headlines. Judge rejects Sean Diddy Combs' proposal for gag order. So what is it? I can't tell which outlet has the information. It looks like both are correct. It doesn't look like the order was granted. It did, in fact, reject it. But yes, it did indeed also warn the feds that you can't keep doing this. This is plainly improper. And basically, if you continue to do this, this is going to be a problem. So here's the judge's, I want to say this. These remarks, if made by an agent involved in investigation, in this case, are plainly improper. To be clear, this order isn't based on a finding that there has been any wrongdoing thus far, as the court has made no findings at this juncture relating to Diddy's allegations. That information related to the case has been leaked. He's not acknowledging the leaks. The point of this order is to help ensure that nothing happens from now on that would interfere with a fair trial. The court will take appropriate action for any violation of the rules. So there is seemingly an order, but it's the same order as previous. Now, he says he issued an order late Friday warning federal prosecutors of other state officials working the case to follow the existing laws, barring them from releasing any grand jury information or other non-public information that could impact the trial. So is this the gag order he wanted? No. But is it still an order warning them, you better shut up? Yes, which he already kind of did. So it does feel like it's not as much of a win as some outlets are trying to claim for Diddy here, because they didn't get their gag order in place. The judge is basically saying, we had a gag order, you guys better follow it or else. And if we find out more of this, there will be repercussions, is how I sort of play this. Because again, they had previously already done this one, as we can see here from back in October. This is the one from the 23rd? Yeah, I believe, or 25th. There's so many orders coming in left and right, it's hard to tell. But this is a bad look. It's a bad look. And this is part of my problem. If you're going to come forward with this stuff, one, you shouldn't be talking to federal sources because they're not supposed to talk right now. It could actually impair the case. And two, let's actually drop real evidence. And again, getting that evidence before the trial could be detrimental, have a really bad effect on the actual case and ensuring that Diddy gets a fair trial. And that's what we want here, guys, because if he gets out due to the feds leaking stuff to the press and doing the improper comments, well, that's going to be a massive bummer. So we got to be careful. Everyone, I hope, is out there. I hope these outlets will start being a little bit more careful. I don't expect the New York Post to, though. They'll just report whatever the hell they get in, because I don't think they care about fair trials. They just care about clicks. So let's all take a breath. Hopefully, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not ruin this whole case for the sake of clicks. So make sure we will do our due diligence. So hit that subscribe, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and stay tuned. We got a lot more coming regarding this case and other news we need to have you see. So thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.